Look how pretty that is. 30 minutes, that's all it took. All right, that is 1 pork tenderloin. And we're just gonna brown that and season with some salt and some pepper. I'm gonna let that cook for a few minutes and then we'll turn it on all the other sides. Our pork tenderloin has browned, so I'm just gonna place it on my plate and let it rest while we make this dish. Got some Dijon mustard and I am just going to drizzle some right on our puff pastry. I've also got some honey and we are just gonna drizzle that on here also, just getting a little layer of it. I'm gonna bring my brush in. We are gonna brush this all over our puff pastry, just getting a nice coating of it. And I have some rosemary and thyme. I'm gonna sprinkle that right on top. You definitely could use dried seasonings for this. That would work really well also, or any other herbs that you like. Oregano would be delicious on this also. Next, we are going to lay some prosciutto right down the center. Like that. I've got that pork tenderloin that we seared and I'm actually going to lay that right on the edge here. And we're going to take our puff pastry and start rolling it up until we've got it completely rolled up. I've got my sheet pan that I have lined with parchment paper and I'm just going to tuck those ends in just like this. And I've got an egg. We're going to do a little bit of an egg wash on this. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I'm going to brush this all over that pork tenderloin. Just make sure you get a nice coating everywhere so it's nice and shiny. I'm just gonna cut some slits in this. I'm gonna do about 4 all the way down it just so that it can vent as it cooks. Well, maybe 5. Before we put this in the oven, I'm just gonna scoot it aside for a second because I want this to be a complete meal. I've got some Brussels sprouts that I halved and trimmed. I'm just gonna add a little olive oil in there and season with some salt. Bring in some tongs and toss that together. Super easy. I'm gonna lay this right along the sides, right with that pork tenderloin that we have wrapped in a puff pastry. So we've got a complete meal all in one on our sheet pan. One last thing before we put that in the oven. I'm actually going to drizzle that with some balsamic reduction just for a little extra flavor. Right down. I have my oven set at 400 degrees. This is only going to take about 30 minutes. I can't wait for you to see what it looks like. Our puff pastry pork tenderloin and our balsamic Brussels sprouts are done. Look how pretty that is. 30 minutes, that's all it took. All right, before I cut it, I am going to sprinkle just with a little bit of parsley. I think that just looks really pretty on this, and boy, people will think you worked all day, but not at all. Let it rest for a few minutes, so I think it's time to cut it open. All right, I think that's good. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, look how juicy that is. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, got a piece of that delicious pork tenderloin. Try to find a little Brussels sprout to go with that. Okay. All in one meal. Oh. Oh my gosh. Everything is delicious. And in 30 minutes, I hope you try this one. Yum.